8 months ago, Mauricio Pochettino looked at reporters and said this about his own best player. No one can feel safe, or no one can feel that it's going to be on the roster, even the names that you say, Pulisic or Tyler Adams. That's the head coach of the United States men's national team, naming his own captain and saying his spot is not guaranteed. Christian Pulisic is the most famous soccer player America has ever produced. And in November of 2025, his coach said out loud that fame buys him nothing. Now, fast forward to this month, and that quote stopped being talk. It became real. Here's the fast version for anyone who doesn't follow the sport closely. The World Cup is happening right now, hosted for the first time ever by the United States, Mexico, and Canada. That means the U.S. team didn't have to qualify. They got in automatically as hosts. Teams start in small groups, the top finishers advance, and from there it's single elimination. Lose once, you're out. Christian Pulisic is the USMNT's biggest star, their captain, a winger who plays club soccer in Italy for AC Milan. Think of him as the LeBron James of American soccer, except LeBron never had to prove it against the entire planet every 4 years. Pulisic got hurt in the very first game. June 12th, opener against Paraguay, first half, he strains his calf and gets pulled at halftime. The United States still wins 4-1. Second group game against Australia, he's not even in uniform. Pochettino tells Fox Sports flatly, Christian is not available. The United States wins anyway, 2-0. Third group game against Turkey, he lands 32 minutes off the bench. The United States loses that one 3-2. It didn't matter, they'd already won the group. Add it up, and here's the number that tells the real story. Through 3 group games, Christian Pulisic played 77 total minutes. 77 minutes for the most famous player on the roster in the most important tournament of his career. That's the ultimatum, not as a quote anymore, but as a decision Pochettino actually made. But here's where it turns into something bigger than a benching. This wasn't simple coldness. Pochettino was stressed. After that Turkey loss, Pochettino got sharp with the media, telling them, for you not say congratulations that we won the group, that is a little bit sad. Days later, before the next match, he opened his press conference by apologizing for it. His exact words, I want to apologize to the guys that were in my last press conference. I was so frustrated. I was disappointed. I thank you and I'm sorry. It was my problem, not your problem. I was upset after the defeat. Now sit with that for a second. This is a coach who, in November, sounded completely in control, laying down the law about who's safe and who isn't. And in June, under real tournament pressure, he's publicly admitting he lost his composure. The tough guy quote and the apology are the same man 8 months apart. And there's a detail buried in the reporting that changes how you should read all of this. Before the tournament even started, U.S. Soccer offered Pochettino a contract extension through 2030, the next World Cup cycle. That offer came before anyone knew whether his hardline approach with Pulisic would even work, which means the Federation wasn't betting on results, they were betting on the man. So when Pochettino draws a hard line with his own captain, he's not a coach fighting to save his job. He's a coach who already has job security, choosing to be blunt anyway. Now, the other side of this, Pulisic hasn't stayed quiet through any of it. Go back to August of 2025, before any of this World Cup drama, and Pulisic and his teammate Tim Weah went on Paramount Plus and pushed back hard against exactly this kind of criticism. Pulisic called the "they didn't want it, they didn't have the heart" narrative the biggest cop-out of all time. Weah went further, saying critics chasing headlines are really evil, honestly. That's not neutral. That's a player who feels like he's constantly being tested in public and he's tired of it. And the criticism doesn't only come from outside the building. Alexi Lalas, a former USMNT player turned Fox Sports analyst, said flatly in October, I don't think that Christian Pulisic is the captain that this team needs or that this team wants. Even Pulisic's own club manager in Italy, Max Allegri, called him very sensitive this spring, saying scoring droughts affect him more than they should. Not everyone agrees, though. Former Chelsea and Milan legend Marcel Desailly has defended Pulisic's leadership directly. This story doesn't have one villain. It's a genuine split among people who actually know the game. Here's a detail almost nobody's connecting to this story. Round of 32, July 1st, the United States finally lands its first World Cup knockout win since 2002, beating Bosnia and Herzegovina 2-0. Pulisic starts, plays the full match, looks fit. But in that same game, striker Folarin Balogun scores and then gets sent off with a red card for serious foul play. He's suspended for the next match. And this is where it circles back to Pochettino's whole philosophy. Defender Chris Richards said after the game, "One man's down, the next guy steps up." People were asking the same question when Christian went down. That's not a coincidence. That's the exact same test. A big name goes out. Does the team survive without him? That test plays out twice in one tournament, once with the captain, once with the strikers. So where does this actually leave things? Pulisic is healthy now. He's back in the starting 11. The team's alive into the round of 16, facing Belgium on July 6th in Seattle without Balogun, who's serving his suspension. Pochettino's original contract runs out the moment this World Cup ends. That extension offer through 2030 is still sitting there unanswered, and by every report, he's not deciding until after the tournament is over, which means the real question was never about a single roster spot in November. It's whether a coach who's willing to bench his own captain, who's already been offered years more job security, who apologized on camera for losing his cool, can take this team past the round of 16 for the first time since the world was watching a very different America. Belgium is next. The clock on that answer starts July 6th.